Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
You're listening to the Yank and Kiwi podcast. Available everywhere on the net.
And we are live! Episode 13, the big 1-3 of the Yank and Kiwi podcast. As always, I am your host, Brett, the handsome and charismatic one. And with me, filling in for Sam, the funny one who never shuts the fuck up, makes fun of my receding hairline, and brags about his superior taste in clothing and liquor.
Hello everyone, I'm Deantay.
And as custom on this show, we are imbibing alcohol. I have Modelo, a Mexican beer that I have courtesy of a real-life friend.
Of course, I have Jim Beam.
Yeah, Modelo, not a bad beer for being cheap and all, but yeah. Personally, I prefer my Guinness and my Dos Equis. And Deantay, this is a good way to open the show. Given that your preferred drink of choice is Jim Beam, I have to wonder, let's just say, hypothetically, you're in a situation where you'd have to say maybe, like, I don't know, like you're at a wedding and they're serving wine.
Yeah, I drink it. I mean, it's free.
So even though Deantay is a Jim Beam man to the grave, he will not turn down free booze.
No, of course not. That'd just be stupid.
I enjoy good wine myself. I mean, like, personally, I like the I like Pinot Noir. Pairs really good with dark chocolate.
Yeah, I used to have some wine. Can't say I hate it, but just wasn't particularly for me.
Yeah, wine I find you really got to pair it with the right things to really get at the flavor right. And in fact, that's actually
that's true.
It's my experience with most alcohol. You had to pair it with something.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, beer is about the only thing I know that you can actually drink straight without anything really. Not that I'd recommend it, by the way. Yeah. All right, and now, as is our other custom on this show, we're going to talk about what we've done in the week since last episode. And Deantay?
Well, I've had a crap day because I have a burst water main and I'm out of water until Monday, so it's not been fun. Yeah, I know.
Better ration the water.
Yeah, and all that jazz, but
Oh man, actually, that's gonna fucking suck if you gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, I already know. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I mean, oh shit. All I can say is I hope there's like a gas station within walking distance for you or something.
Yeah, everything's pretty much in walking distance here, so that's one good thing.
Yeah, so if you gotta use a bathroom, you got a place you can go.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I gotta wonder, I mean, like, what are plumber services like out in New Zealand? Because, like, out here in the States, you can get a plumber, but he will fucking rape you in cost. Like, he will charge you for driving out here. He will charge you for equipment. He will charge you for the time it takes. He'll make sure he can, if he can charge you for it, he will.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much more flexible. The only problem is where I am, there's no emergency plumber. So anything that happens during the weekends, you shit out of luck until the Monday, which is the next working day.
Oh, so plumbers don't work. So a lot of plumbers don't work on the weekends.
No.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yep. Oh, it does.
Although I hear like out in Austria, or is it Hungary? Because apparently I think it's Hungary. Hungary. Hungary has a very different toilet system from the States. Like, it's like, say your toilet gets clogged there, it's not something you can just fix with a plunger.
Oh.
Yeah, that would. Yeah,
Doesn't.
Suffice to say, that would suck.
Sounds it.
Because let's just say I've had my experience with backed up toilets, and oh god, there are things you do not want to leave in those things. Yeah. Is that all? Just you had a water main that broke. Now you gotta wait on a plumber main. Like, you haven't played anything, seen anything, read anything.
No, I actually saw the new Planet of the Apes movie, which I was actually disappointed in because I feel like all three movies are just the same damn story all the way through.
Yeah, the first one.
And
the first one was good. I haven't bothered seeing any of the others.
I like one was good, but this one, it was almost. Yeah, I'm thinking this is the same fucking movie with the same fucking story.
Yeah, I think I actually saw I saw the review by Your Movie Sucks, and I'm just gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. Although, honestly, if what Deantay says is true, you're really not missing anything. But he talks about how in the movie they introduced this virus that makes people regress to a primitive state, which is fucking what?
Yeah.
Really? That's how you're trying to connect this to the old Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes? Really? I mean, I would have bought more that the apes, after they took over, they just started breeding humans to be dumb.
Yeah. Well, I was actually hoping in this one we'd actually see the nuclear missile launch, but that never happened.
Fuck! That is... I mean, just to see the Statue of Liberty get destroyed, that's shit we should have been... should be seeing in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it should. And then also, of course, you got the underground people, I forget the names, the mutants, which... There's none of those appear in the prequels. I thought that virus was actually going to, lead to the creation of the mutants. And what they could do illusions or some shit, if I remember correctly, on Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah, it was in the sequel, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I only saw Dawn of Planet of the Apes and the original first Planet of the Apes. First one, which is excellent, which is a movie everyone should see at least once.
Oh, yeah. And do not bother with the Tim Burton one. That one shouldn't exist.
Nope. It's lame.
Even the fucking twist at the end is lame. Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Although I thought it was fucking hilarious that do you know who DeRay McKesson is, Deantay?
No.
He's a race baiting activist, always talking about how Whitey's keeping the black man down, and his signature is that he wears this really stupid looking blue vest. And it just so happens that the bad ape was wearing a vest that looked similar, and he thought this was supposed to be an allegory about him. He's that kind of douche.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Yeah. Of course, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes that's the only one Sam's seen, and he thinks that all Planet of the Apes movies have to do with the Tim Burton one. I keep telling him, no, Tim Burton's got nothing to do with the others. That was... Don't even fucking put it with the others.
Oh, Sam. Oh, Sam, we love you, but God, are you dumb? Sometimes. Okay, so is that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So how's your week been?
Like I said, it's been good since everything cooled down after the heat wave finally ended. and in which was
Oh, nice.
it's starting to get into the rainy season, which that's Washington in the fall, rains, and also in the winter. Was actually having a little back and forth with Sam a while back about which place has more temperamental weather, Washington or New Zealand. And he was telling me that New Zealand can like be cold one day and then like super hot another, I think.
Yeah. This winter's been very bipolar-like.
And is that odd for a New Zealand winter?
It is, because usually you get your weaker consistent weather. This time it's one day it's one thing, next day it's another thing, next day it's another thing. How we had one day, I swear to God, it went through all 4 seasons in one day. Was that weird?
Yeah, well, like out in Washington, like once it turns into fall and winter, like Western Washington doesn't get a lot of snow, like hardly any at all. What we get instead is rain and tons of it, and that's because Tacoma happens to be smack dab right between the Olympic Mountain Range and the Cascade Mountain Ranges.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't need to. It's not hard to see why it's wet out here all the time.
No, it doesn't. Not in that location.
I mean, the mountains are pretty to look at, but.
Yeah.
I mean, like, fuck it. I mean, I can see Mount Rainier almost anywhere I go here.
That's pretty. Well, that's nice, but.
Yeah, actually, let me see let me pull up. Let me do a little screen share for you.
Sweet.
So you can see what it looks like. Alright. And screen here we are, share screen. Alright. Yeah, you see?
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, from where I live, I can see that almost anywhere I go. It is it is a very big mountain.
Damn, that was a nice fucking view, though. Wow.
Yup. Yep, and it's like, how high is this thing? How high is this thing again? It is about 400. Let's see. It's about the mountain itself is about covers about 369 miles. I don't know what that is in metric because I use the superior American system. Okay, elevation is 14,411 feet. In metric, that is 4,392 meters.
Wow.
Yep. And also, it just so happens that mountain is also an inactive volcano.
Oh, shit.
Yep. So we have like volcanic eruption passages in case it goes off, so people can get to safety. And it is only a matter of time before that motherfucker goes off again.
Well, at least you got a plan.
Yeah.
Unlike the poor bastards in Pompeii.
Oh yeah. Now I only know. Everything I know about New Zealand comes from watching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, as most people do.
No. I mean, so I can pretty much assume that all the locations they shot completely real.
Yes, most of the ones are in the South Island, though. There's, what's that place in the second one? Where Rohan. That's all done completely in the South Island. Of course, they just built a little set down there for the castle and the village, but that's everything you see, like the plains, the mountains, that's all there.
Actually, I think I remember you telling me once that you were actually close enough to one of the sets at one point.
Yeah, the Shire. Before I moved last year, it was only a 20-minute drive to where they filmed the Shire. In fact, we used to bloody go there for school camps. That was, long before the Lord of the Rings was filmed there, of course.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would have expected, like, maybe you just had a cousin that got to be an extra in one of the movies or something.
No, I didn't know anyone personally, but then, when I was working in my old rest home, everyone had the story of, we were extras in the Lord of the Rings, and maybe they were telling the truth, maybe they weren't, but I just nod and agree because you can't really prove it either way.
Yeah. Unless you want to go through the credits and go through every single extra that's name checked there, and nobody does.
And then even then, all the names wouldn't appear anyway because they'd always leave someone out.
But yeah, I mean, that's just gotta be so fucking cool that you were that close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta wonder, like, are any of the mountains in New Zealand, are they just like mountains? Any of them volcanoes, perhaps?
Oh shit, we got fucking volcanoes up and fucking down the place, and all of them are active.
Oh fuck.
I mean, you look us up, Lake Taupo. It's the big lake right in the center of the North Island. That's a volcano. If that thing goes up, we're fucked.
Wait, don't tell me they built like a whole resort around there.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's people living there. It's an active volcano, and the last time it erupted, they could see the eruption in Rome. That's how big it was.
Wait, you said wrong. Wait, is that the one from the? Is that the eruption from the Scream?
The Scream.
It's that painting that's like.
Oh no, I don't think it's that. But when that volcano erupted, because New Zealand hadn't been discovered yet, but when they found out that volcano erupted, it matched the record of from Rome of them seeing a big eruption somewhere across the ocean.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. That was a freaking big one.
Oh, and I thought Hawaiians were done for living around an active volcanoes.
Oh no, we're just as stupid.
Well, actually, Kiwis are crazy. I mean, you have to be crazy.
Yeah.
You'd have to be crazy to want to live near an active volcano.
Once you fucking move to New Zealand, that's it. You're fucking near an active volcano. Doesn't matter which part you're in.
Really? Like,
yeah.
Oh well, duh. It's an island country. Of course, it's gonna be built around active volcanoes. Of course.
Yep.
Although, actually, I gotta wonder who's gonna be more fucked. I mean, like, about Mount Fuji, right?
Yep.
That's also an inactive volcano, currently inactive. That fucker's huge. Like, how big is Mount Fuji?
Oh yeah.
Like, how big is Mount Fuji?
Thing is, they're all on the fucking circle of fire as well.
Oh yeah, also true. Actually, according to Wikipedia, Mount Fuji is an active volcano. Just hasn't erupted yet. It's about Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters.
Ooh, that is big.
And if I remember correctly, it's not too far from. It's in the Chubu region. That's where Tokyo is, right? I mean, like. Actually, yeah, you can see Fuji from Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo would be pretty close to it.
Yeah, just like Seattle's pretty fucking close to Mount Rainier. It's just, this is holy fucking shit. I mean, like, who's more fucked there? I mean,
Well, so we're
at least out in Hawaii, when their volcanoes go off, typically it's the kind where lava just spills out. So, I mean, it's bad, but it's manageable at least. Damage doesn't get that bad. Rainier is the kind that when it erupts, it explodes. And I'm pretty sure Fuji's not that different.
No, it'd probably be the same.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we've built a freaking capital city right on the most dangerous fault line in New Zealand.
You built on a fault line?
I'm not kidding. It's Wellington. You can look this up. So if there's a big fucking earthquake, the first place that'll go is the capital city. And it's also fucking right at the bottom of the island, so it'll get all the tidal waves and shit as well.
Goes to fucking Auckland, and I thought Californians were stupid for building Los Angeles on an active fault line. Although, look at it this way, can't be as bad as Japan. They built a nuclear reactor on an active fault line.
Oh yeah, I know there's fucking zero nuclear stuff in New Zealand. So at least we win in that area. We're not that stupid.
Well, it's not like you guys need a nuclear plant anyway.
No, that's true. But we're very anti-nuclear here. We won't even keep ships that have nuclear weapons on them.
So, actually, now here's another question. Like, I know there's like several countries I know that like they have alliances with the states, and so they allow us to build bases on them. Are there any like that out in New Zealand? Like, there like any U.S. bases?
No, not that I know of. And you guys can just come in and all that as you will, but as far as I know, there's no bases.
Really?
Really?
So the only military presence in New Zealand is New Zealand's own.
New Zealand. Well, technically we're meant to be in cahoots with Australia, but at the moment that's not panning out too well.
Yeah, I've talked with Sam about Australians. He is not a fan of them.
It's fucking you. No.
Is it just a Kiwi thing to not like Australians?
I guess it is. Even though technically we're on the same fucking side. Technically.
I just gotta wonder, like, where the animosity comes from. Does, like, anybody knows, or just, like, is this just a thing, like, everyone just takes for granted? Like, Kiwis and Aussies just don't like each other, and everyone just goes with it.
It could just be that, to be honest. I mean, we've fought in all the wars side by side, and that we even share the Anzac Day, which celebrates all the soldiers of New Zealand and Australia that lost their lives in the war. But we still hate each other.
With Canada and the U.S., we have sort of our animosity is a bit more polite, and I think Canadians get fucking snooty with us. They like to act like they're better than us.
Yeah.
And of course, well, we're Americans. We just look at them and think they're just a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, I know the Canadian and America butting heads. It's pretty much the same thing as that with Australia and New Zealand.
Hate is everywhere. Love the hate.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as I forgot what I was going to talk about. What I've done on this weekend. I just kept on reading more of Usagi Yojimbo, and I got through like the first volume, and it seriously, I have to wonder why this show has. No, it's not a show. This character, like Miyamoto Usagi, he's crossed over with the Ninja Turtles in all 3 of their cartoons. And yeah, I'm not kidding. You can find the Ninja Turtle Usagi Yojimbo crossover episodes pretty easily. But I have to wonder, like, with all the exposure he's gotten through the Turtles, how has he not managed to get his own show? I mean, like, a show about an anthropomorphic rabbit Ronin in feudal Japan. I'd fucking watch that, man. That sounds cool.
I wonder if the third movie from the original series was originally the plan. You know how they go back in time. I wonder if there was talks about adding him into that movie at one point.
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, like, it'd have been interesting. Maybe.
Yeah. Because that whole back in time thing seemed kind of just, I don't know, it came out of nowhere. But if you had that character and he was originally meant to play some kind of part, it makes a little more sense.
Awesome.
But first, they just didn't go with it for whatever reason. Who knows? I'm just speculating.
Maybe because a rabbit samurai would have been a little too goofy or something. Fuck. It's
The fucking...
anthropomorphic Ninja Turtles. How much more goofy?
Plus exactly, and in this one they're fucking time traveling, so just fucking may as well go all out.
I mean, especially considering that Usagi Yojimbo's actually got a very good villain in this one character called Jay. He's a wolf samurai who's also kind of crazy. Like, he thinks he's a servant of the gods, and his mission is to go out and eradicate evil. And he's also...
That would be a fucking good bad guy for the fucking movie.
And also, he's kind of immortal.
Well, yeah, that's even fucking better.
Yeah, like...
That would be fucking fun to watch. That would be.
Well, you can kind of... If you look up the three-parter they did in the new cartoon on Nickelodeon, you can probably get an idea of what that might have looked like. Because I saw that, and that was actually pretty awesome.
Sweet. I'll have to look that up after the show. Yeah, I can't say I follow the Ninja Turtles in a while, so, yeah.
But yeah, that's, Okay, aside from that, I got some work set up on my next video for Werewolf, which is going to cover the fall of the Garu, and after this...
Sweet.
After this, I mean, I don't really feel bad about spoilers because hardly anybody checks in on this. But after this, I'm going to start moving in on talking about the tribes. And that alone is going to be like... That's at least 12 videos right off the bat.
Wow.
Yeah, and considering all the other various points in the lore that I would have to cover, like... I'd have to cover Pentex, which is the evil mega corporation. I'm gonna have to talk about the Umbra, the spirit world. I could easily see this going into the high 20s, possibly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you got some good topics there, so I say fucking go for it.
Yeah, I know, and like, I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is like something I'm really feeling inspired to do, and like, Alice,
no, that's good.
Pans out. I don't know if I'd give up reviewing anime completely, but there's just, like, the market's already fucking saturated. Fuck, I'm up against guys like Gigak, and he's got way more time to cover way more current anime than I do. Which, I'm glad for the guy. Really am. I'm glad. The guy's, he's got all the success he's got. He fucking deserves it. I mean, he's good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He is good.
If anyone should be the face of the anime community, Gigak is it.
Yep, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Actually, there's an interesting point. You always got these YouTubers in certain circles that get so big that they're just kind of the face of that community. Like, I think Sargon of Akkadi was like the face of the skeptic community for a while.
Yep.
But now he's too big to even be. I think now he's gotten too big to even be really be their figurehead anymore, though.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sore about. Sargon makes good content.
Yeah, he's got a lot of interesting points.
I guess as far as the YouTube wrestling community goes, it seems to be sort of... Deantay? Hello? Thought I lost you for a sec, man.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, yeah. I guess where YouTube wrestling community is concerned, not really sure they've figured out who their guy is, because, I would not put anyone from What Culture, they're like BuzzFeed for what wrestling.
Yeah. And they're not just wrestling focused anymore. They do a whole bunch of stuff.
Which, diversify your brand. I get that. Gaming, is anyone going to say that it's not PewDiePie?
That's true.
Is PewDiePie still the face of the gaming community on YouTube? I mean, like,
Well, I'd say the Let's Play. I'd say the Let's Play side of it, at least,
I
easy.
don't think I've seen. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen him do anything gaming related in years. Like now he just posts like random shit vids. I mean, random shit posts.
Well, as far as I know, still does it. Yeah, who knows? They got that other guy as well, Markiplier.
Yeah, Markiplier, that's him.
Yeah. He got quite popular quite fast.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell you who thinks he's the face of the gaming community.
Who's it? Oh, AVGN. No, fuck off.
Nope. Someone you hate
Good.
even more. And also,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure James Rolfe does not think he's the face of anybody's community. James actually seems like he's a pretty humble and down-to-earth guy.
I actually disagree with that strongly, but that's just me. Oh, Angry Joe?
Nope. Someone you hate even more.
Even more than Angry fucking Joe.
Mad Pat.
Oh, God, yeah, no. No, I tried to block that fucking name out. He just... No, gang theories. No, fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. No fucking way.
Oh, Deantay had a roast of a rapper Mad Pat on Facebook one day. You guys missed it.
Oh, fuck that guy.
If I remember
Sam told me... here you go.
You go.
Okay. Sam told me what he's doing now is he's doing things that test game logic, you know. If you do something in the game in real life, how it pans out. Like, who fucking cares? It's a fucking game.
Besides,
Who the fuck cares?
Rooster Teeth already tried that anyway.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth did it, but they did it in a fucking comedic way. He wants to make it fucking serious.
Yeah. Yeah, Rooster Teeth knew what they were doing was a joke.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, games are fucking imagination. You don't need to fucking apply real life fucking logic. That's the fucking point of them, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I think I actually saw one episode of that where he was trying to test how realistic Rainbow Six Siege was.
Good, I hope he got shot.
Oh yeah, his team got shot a lot because they were going up against trained SWAT officers.
Oh, good, I hope they fucking picked him and tortured him after for information.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, like, I'll say this: Rainbow Six Siege at least does look like it's a fairly realistic game. I mean, but that's always kind of been Rainbow Siege's thing, though. It's always tried to be a more realistic shooter.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, but fucking applying it to fucking real life, fuck off. It's not interesting. Use your imagination with games and just have fucking fun. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh man, I can remember when Rooster Teeth was doing their thing. They tried testing like fighting game outfits, and they had one of the chicks dress up as Ivy from Soul Calibur. And we're talking.
Fuck that one of it.
And we're talking Ivy from circa Soul Calibur 4.
Oh God.
You can imagine how that turned out.
Could have been worse. It could have been going for fucking Voldo.
They'd probably have to get a contortionist to pull that up. But yeah, like the chick they had dressed up as Ivy, wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. Fucking Soul Calibur, fuck it. They tried to be like fucking Dead and Alive in the end when it came to their fucking character looks. It's like,
it's like, yeah.
After the third one, it just gets stupid.
Like I know Ivy was never exactly designed with any sense of restraint, but at that point they were just fucking pushing it.
Yeah, they were. And then the fifth one came out and it fucking completely fucking sucked.
Who needs Soul Calibur anyway when you got Guilty Gear? Now there's a good fighting game.
And Blaze Blue.
Oh yeah, Blaze Blue 2. Blue 2, and I think King of Fighters. The new King of Fighters was also pretty good too.
Oh yeah, I've heard some good things about that one. But your fucking Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombats are fucking faded into nothing as well now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So.
Fucking not even shadows of the older games.
Yeah. And how's the new Tekken turned out too? I can't remember Razor Fist's video on that.
Not been hearing many good things about it.
Wow. So now.
Well, people love.
Go on.
People love the customization in it, but you know it's a fucking fighting game. Customization should come second or third.
So I guess if you want a good fighting game, just play Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, or King of Fighters.
Yep, at the moment they're the most fun ones.
Which is what a fighting game should be.
Yeah, and fucking jump on, beat the other person, or beat up a friend, or get beaten up and just laugh about it, and fucking done.
Oh man, you seen the trailers for the new Marvel vs. Capcom?
No, I haven't really been following that one since it's all fucking Disney Incorporated.
And well, now they're really trying to add in a story.
Oh god.
Like apparently they can't. Ultron has gotten so powerful now they need to ask Thanos for help in this one.
Ugh. That sounds fucking ridiculous.
I mean, I know it's Marvel vs. Capcom. The premise alone is ridiculous, but I mean, you know.
And let me guess, you got to get the Infinity Stones to him, or some shit, because they're being incorporated into this game.
Probably, I guarantee that has to be a thing.
So the fucking okay, he's become this ultra strong bad guy. So the plan is to fucking go to the next strongest bad guy, give him the items that he can destroy everything and make him more of a threat, and go, here you go, now can you help us?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he just wants to kill people.
Logic.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's not fucking ridiculous. It's
brilliant.
yeah, it's that.
I know they're taking out the fucking X-Men, haven't they? They said there's going to be no X-Men characters, and I forget who said it. Someone said, "Oh, well, no one remembers the X-Men." It's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't think people. I think many people remember how fucking cheap the Sentinel was in the second one.
Yeah. Well, fucking, you've had Logan this year, which is probably going to be the best comic book movie of the year.
Why not?
So far.
Why not?
So, you know.
On that, man.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, because it's got Disney's fingerprint.
Yeah. It looks like it's just gonna be. It looks like it's like they're gonna fill the Marvel side of the roster with Avengers, probably Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, Rocket's in it. I know that much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are throwing in Star-Lord. Wouldn't be surprised if they were. They probably also.
Oh yeah, he'll be in it.
Probably also throwing Drax, Gamora, maybe Groot. I mean.
Well, I know they're going to be doing that with characters and fucking there's your DLC.
Yeah. I mean, but enough about Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which is going to just suck because Capcom sucks these days. They don't want to make a good game because they don't want to make money.
Well, they want to make money. They just want to make it fucking in some very questionable ways.
Like charging customers for data that's already pressed to the disk.
Yeah, fuck it. What was that one? That was Street Fighter versus
Tekken.
That's the one. God, I remember the fucking backlash from that, and rightfully so too.
The quote
Jesus.
The quote Razor Fist, Yoshinori Odo is a monocle and a balloon laser away from being a fucking Bond villain.
Wasn't there supposed to be another one coming out as well? Tekken versus Street Fighter? There were going to be two games that go parallel to each other?
What? Seriously? Oh, of course there is.
I think there was, because Street Fighter versus Tekken would be, more the Street Fighter type system of play, and Tekken versus Street Fighter would be the technical Tekken type of play. But I guess they abandoned that idea because I haven't heard any more of Tekken versus Street Fighter.
I'm actually kind
Probably too hard for them to do.
Seriously having a hard time picturing how this was even supposed to work. Because Street Fighter and Tekken, they have very different philosophies with how they're designed.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Street Fighter's always been built around speed and combos, whereas Tekken's more about precision and technique.
Yeah. It's a lot more technical.
And then of course you get Mortal Kombat, which is just about fucking gore.
Yeah. I remember what was it? The Virtual Fighters, I always liked those. They were the most technical fighting game for me, and I really enjoyed those ones.
Yeah. Now, if you ask me if you want a fighting game that just oozes style, you're not going to do better than Guilty Gear or BlazBlue.
Oh, yeah. No, they're fucking great.
Those are games that get away with style over substance.
But even then, they still fucking focus on the gameplay as well. Each character's unique.
Yeah, true.
It's a smaller roster, but yeah, it pays off.
Yeah, it's at least more. The gameplay styles are at least more focused, so they know what works for this character and what doesn't work. But like I said, the real selling point of those games is just the style. It's the presentation.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. See, speaking of BlazBlue, the next one is going to be a crossover. It's going to have characters from Persona in, which I don't actually mind because they've already put them in a fighting game, but it's going to have Ruby characters in it as well.
Really?
Really? You look up the trailer afterwards, and Ruby, she is called Ruby. She comes in at the end. And I'm pretty sure they'll chuck some of the others in as well, because I think there's about 4 of them, isn't there, on that team?
Yep,
that team, really, or whatever.
I think I watched the first few seasons of Ruby. I don't hate it, but I fucking hate the fan base it has, though. It's just they think this thing is hot shit. Guys,
I watched.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you, Ruby's not bad, but it is not. It's not the cure for cancer or anything like that. It's something that's made by anime fans for anime fans. That's all it is.
I'd say it's made for fucking video game fans, because I see a lot of fucking video game type shit in there.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's just, it's not fucking deep. It's not fucking excellent. For what it is, you can definitely find worse, but just admit what it is. It's just an anime nerd's dream anime. That's what it is.
I'm not sure how many I watched. I got to they find this cyborg girl, and it was and she's exactly like the fucking cyborg from BlazBlue, actually.
Really?
The X11, swords come out of her back and they form around, and it was exactly like the fucking character from BlazBlue.
Holy shit! I'm surprised Rooster Teeth didn't get sued.
Well, they're fucking in the BlazBlue game, so I guess they had some kind of deal going.
Or maybe they worked out something.
But yeah. Anyway, I got to that, and I could see where this was going. It's a harmless show. Don't get me wrong, but it's just there's no interest in it.
Yeah, Sam hates it. Thinks it's awful.
I'm not surprised he hates it.
Well, Sam hates everything.
Actually, speaking of that, it has to do with our topic today, doesn't it? Something he hates that we're going to talk about.
Yes, something we love that Sam hates. And I'm hoping Sam's listening to this, because this is gonna be like putting a drill through his ear. Both of them.
Yep.
Oh, and I can already hear. Oh my God, you two fuckers had to talk about fucking Firefly, which I cannot fucking stand. It got the camera well on fucking stand still. The characters are fucking dumb. I'm the fuck Joss Whedon. Fuck all of you.
That would be fucking right.
Task for doing a terrible impression of him.
Well, you got the rating right.
Yep. Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deantay and I, we are big fans of Firefly. Sam is not.
Nope, he is not.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we should probably start out with how we each discovered Firefly.
I'll go first because I did a review on Serenity. That was one of my second reviews, and because I actually started with Serenity the movie, I didn't actually know there was a Firefly series because I'm not even sure if it came to TV over here. Anyway, I watched Serenity, really enjoyed it. I'm thinking there's something missing here, so of course I looked it up, and sure enough, it's the ending of the Firefly series, which was short-lived, sadly, but that's how I got into the series anyway.
Yeah, and I think I can pretty much say that Deantay is the reason I apologize if you guys heard my ringtone go off. But yeah, Deantay kind of, I mean, like, I knew that Firefly and Serenity existed, but I guess you could say Deantay's review of it kind of more sparked my interest to go check it out. And I think I also remember back in the day when I used to follow Spoonie, I actually came across a text review he did of Firefly, and because the thing about Spoonie, like, he was never really shy about how much he disliked Joss Whedon, but he said he liked Firefly because, in his own words, it brought back something that science fiction had been lacking for a long time: originality.
Yeah.
But,
I think we can agree Josh Whedon is a bit of a cunt, so
yeah, I mean,
at least.
Saying that on Mother's Day he's glad his mom is dead so she doesn't have to live through a Trump presidency. Asshole.
Oh, yeah.
What an...
Yeah.
Just talk... There's being... That's just being an asshole, Joss.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
Yep.
So, we're not fans of him in person, but, he's done some good work. You can't deny that.
Yeah. And hell, if I was gonna... if I was gonna only check out work by people I thought were good people, well, I probably wouldn't be listening to Maddox's podcast, because Maddox can also be a massive dick. Just ask Dick Masterson how their partnership ended. Look that. And I also listened to Nirvana, and Kurt Cobain was a fucking drug addict who killed himself. Yeah, there's a good guy to how to model your life after.
Plus his fucking choice in women, Courtney Love, she's fucking shady as fuck.
Yeah. Point is, just because Joss is a complete tool does not mean he hasn't made good work.
No. Plus, he did the first Avengers movie, and that's a fucking classic.
Yep. Yeah, and even Ultron's not a bad follow-up. But yeah, I don't know. Originality. Considering that I've seen Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop, can you really say Firefly is that original?
No, it's it was good for what it was as far as the live action going. It had the originality there, but if you go back, if you know of Cowboy Bebop and that, you can see where it's fucking come from. He's an Outlaw Star, especially the River character, because who's that girl's name on Outlaw Star? She's almost identical.
Yep.
Yeah, she's almost identical to fucking River.
Well, almost. More, especially in the way they discover her.
Yeah.
Locked in a cryo chamber. and she just happens to be pursued by a cabal of bad people who have some sort of agenda that involves her.
Yeah. That was actually one thing that didn't make sense to me. Okay, you had River, and the brother took her and all that, blah, 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 and the Alliance is after her. Mm-hmm. Now, she, as it's revealed in Serenity, she holds the secrets in the head of how the Reavers were made. So, of course, they want to silence her, but they always send people to fucking capture her. Why don't they just blow up the fucking ship? I mean, you do not want this fucking secret of the Reavers to get out. And they had, time and time again, they had the chance to open fire on Firefly. But they wanted River back alive for some reason, which never made sense to me. Because they couldn't control her, and she had all their fucking secrets.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
I guess, blowing up the ship.
I think just kind of occurred to me, we probably should at least give, people some brief synopsis of what the premise is. Because,
Yeah, I should have started there. My bad.
Yeah, the backdrop to Firefly, guys, is that somewhere in the future, overpopulation and resource depletion forces the human race to leave Earth and seek new homes out in a new solar system. And a bunch of worlds formed together. They're known as a government known as the Alliance, which is sort of an amalgamation of China, the United States, and the European Union, which embodies the worst aspects of all three, as you can.
Yep.
And there are also worlds on the Outer Rim known that the Alliance worlds just kind of left alone, didn't try to help at all, and they're poor, but they're also very independent. And then one day the Alliance gets in their head, you know what? All those worlds we left out in the Rim, we should probably make them do what we want. And so they have a war.
Basically a civil war type thing.
Yeah. And the independents lose. And our protagonists just happen, a couple of our protagonists just happen to be these soldiers for the independents, whom are also referred to as browncoats.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Mm-hmm. Mal and Zoe.
Yep.
And so after the war, which is at the Battle of Serenity Valley, which is their final loss, Mal and Zoe go off and pick up a starship, a Firefly, last cruiser that they named Serenity, and just decide to go make their living out in space.
Yeah. It should also be, they also left because they kind of felt betrayed by their side because they got abandoned and then the bombs were dropped on them.
Oh yeah, that too, yeah.
So they pretty much completely cut themselves off from society and chose an outlaw type life.
Especially given that it's going for this whole spaghetti western type aesthetic in space.
Yeah.
I think the major theme of Firefly is freedom, because that ship is like the last chance they got at being free. Because it's drawing on so much inspiration from the westerns, and the appeal of the Old West was that this was a place a man could go out and make his own way in life without having to listen to anybody, and that was what the whole cowboy image was. It was the ultimate spirit of independence. The rugged individual who conquers the land and is his own man.
Yeah, that's pretty much the basis of it.
That was definitely the big theme of Firefly, freedom.
Yeah. And it worked. It worked really well.
Yeah, because with Serenity, Mal's got his chance of being free again. It's his only chance. It's the only way he can be free now, actually.
Of course, interestingly, he runs his ship as a dictatorship. because he doesn't have much faith in democracy,
Oh yeah, he is the captain.
which is actually quite yeah. But it's really his way or the highway. You can't argue with him.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember in Serenity when Jane was telling him was arguing about him, and Mel just goes, "You want to run this ship? Yeah, I want to run this ship." Mel.
Well, you can't.
That is a Whedon line there, guys.
And the other one in fucking is when River's trying to find the planet Miranda, and he's talking him down. And he's saying, I think that if I'm wrong, you better just shoot me. And she cocks the gun back, and he's going, or we could talk some more.
Yeah. That is pretty funny. I think I remember reading somewhere, I can't remember if it was from Nathan Fillion, that all his crewmates sort of represent parts of himself that Mal's lost. Like if you think about it, it's not hard to see me with Zoe, it's innocence. With Wash, it's a sense of humor. Or with Zoe, it's determination. With Jane, it's I guess I'm gonna have to look this up, but I think I can't remember what it was for Jane. I think you said for Book it's faith. But yeah, but I kind of found that interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Oh shit, mates, represent parts of himself. Let's see what the Google says.
Good old Google.
Yep.
While you're doing that, maybe you could answer one question for me. Firefly in. I heard that one of the reasons is on American TV, it wasn't shown in chronological order.
Oh yeah.
They showed the premiere, and people weren't interested in it because they showed it in the wrong order, and no one knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, that's completely.
Was that true?
That is completely true. That Fox completely.
Wow.
They completely messed up the syndication of it. Like they actually did air all the episodes out of order, and I think they might have even aired one of them on the heels of the Super Bowl, which is getting aired on the heels of the Super Bowl is like a death sentence for any fledgling television show out here.
Yeah. Because Super Bowl's fucking big over there.
Yeah, the Super Bowl is the biggest television event of the year.
Yeah.
We talk about baseball being our national pastime. No, because you don't see the advertisers pulling out all the stops to get all their shiny new commercials out on the World Series. They do that at the Super Bowl.
No.
I don't know if that's true, but that wouldn't have surprised me. I don't know if it was just pure incompetence or malice, because I also know that Joss does not have a good history with Fox.
Can't sound surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, it's completely true that Fox just they aired all the episodes out of order. It's possible they didn't even want it to be successful. Because there were a lot of ideas story ideas that they never got to use. I think that loader from Aliens that Ripley uses?
Yep.
Kaylee was gonna build something like that at some point.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. But no. And it's not like it was expensive to make. There weren't any aliens, so they didn't have to rely on a lot of makeup. And from what I can tell, it wasn't that special effects heavy.
No, and the sets were simple enough. Very simple sets.
Yeah, because that was the thing. So, like, fucking why, man? I don't.
There's also a lot of characters that you don't get a glimpse into their backstory that much. Walsh, Kaylee, and who was the other? Aurora. Oh, and of course Shepard. I mean, Shepard's got the fucking biggest mystery.
Oh, Inara.
Yeah.
Inara.
And she was supposed to have some kind of virus or some shit that the series hinted at, but
like
never really looked into.
Yeah, she was supposed to have some sort of disease, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, and of course there were those, and of course there was all that that stuff they were all those little breadcrumbs they were dropping along, having to deal with Book.
Yeah, because he had some kind of high status in the Alliance who was, yeah, but we never find out what it is. Plus, he fucking knows a shit ton. He knew how to get out of every situation just about.
And also, remember the Bounty Hunter episode?
Oh yeah, he says he's not a shepherd. That's right.
Yeah. And in case you guys don't know, a shepherd is basically their version of a reverend. Or. Yeah.
And he knows how to use a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was a comic book though that got published. There were several comics for Firefly and Serenity that sort of filled in the gaps. There was one that went into Shepard's past. I mean, into Book's past.
Yeah.
So you know about it, right?
Yeah, I do know about that one.
Yeah, I think I actually managed to track it down and read it once. And everything I do remember is that Book started out as sort of a street punk and a thief who, I think, at some point he gets caught, and but because he's, I don't remember why, for some reason that gets him into the Alliance. Like maybe he tried robbing some Alliance guy, or maybe the Alliance noticed how good he was. So the Alliance recruits him, and he sort of has a job being an interrogator. Yeah, and he does a lot of bad things to a lot of people, during the war.
So let me guess, he kind of gets guilty and he wants to get away from that as far as he can?
Not quite.
Type thing?
Not quite.
Okay.
Because like I said, he's not just an interrogator. He's also a spy. Like he'll infiltrate and assume other people's identities. Because the thing is, Book is not his real name. I forget it.
No.
But that's not his real name.
No, I wouldn't be. I had a feeling Book wasn't going to be his true name.
Yeah, it was a name of some guy he stole before he got into the Alliance. It's an alien.
So was he actually on Firefly as a spy? Or was it just pure coincidence?
No, it was pure coincidence. Because at some point he comes across a shepherd that he interrogates, and the guy won't give up anything, and I think he ends up torturing him to death, but he's sort of taken aback by his resolve.
Yeah.
And so after the war ends, he sort of starts drifting, and he starts wondering about what his purpose is. And that's how he starts, and that's when he finds his order and becomes a shepherd. And gets a new lease on life.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that's just what I remember, so keep in mind there's likely a lot of details I forgot, mainly because I probably killed those brain cells with what is right now my second can of beer. Yeah. Yeah, another good one was there was one that acted as sort of an in-between between Firefly and Serenity. Those left tied up the loose ends with those Alliance assassins that were hunting River.
Oh, the Men in Black. And they kill a glow stick.
Actually, from what I hear, they're referred to as the Hands of Blue.
I just remember the Men in Black with a killer glow stick. That's all I know about them.
Yeah. And also, remember that guy that Mal shot in the first episode?
Yep.
Yeah, well, it turns out he survived.
Well, okay, I won't question it.
All he did was take out his eye.
Well, he kind of shoots him, drags him out, dumps him on it, and the fucking Reavers were... I'm not going to think about it. He survived. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the Alliance agents, they recruit him to hunt down Mal on the Serenity, and he's in it just so he can get revenge on Mal.
No, of course, gotta have a revenge plot.
What happens is, I actually forget what happened. It was a long time. It's been a while since I read that. So I'll just look it up because I do remember. The title.
I was actually going to bring up the Men in Black and their hands are blue and their color glow stick because they seem to be important, but they disappeared after the hospital episode, and you see them in the opening of Serenity, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And I was thinking, no, there had to be more to them.
Yeah. Okay. So plot. Here's the plot. Story opens with Shepherd Book giving a sermon in a random border planet town, which is shortly revealed to be a diversion so Mal, Zoe, and Jane can pull a heist. The three are having a standoff with a fellow thief and his gang were tipped off to the job by an unknown party. He demands the payload, and Mal agrees, not wanting to risk the lives of his crew. Pushing his luck, the thief then asks Mal to give up his gun as well. Mal threatens him to back down, but he persists. Mal briefly muses on how his gun was one of the two things that got him through the war and stuck with him afterward, the other being Zoe. Mal drops his gun to the floor and then kicks it into the thief's face, knocking out a few of his teeth. Thief orders men to open fire, and a pitched firefight ensues. The thief's team retreats with the payload, while Mal, Zoe, and Jane pursue. The thief's crew escape the planet after notifying the entire town of the heist. While the townspeople chase Mal and the others, thinking that they have stolen money, Shepherd Book steals a transport, and the four make their escape. While the townsfolk still in pursuit, Mal radios Wash, notifying him of the need to make a hasty escape. Wash and Kale use Serenity to knock over a water tower, stun the pursuers long enough for the crew to escape. Meanwhile, Lawrence Dobson, the Fed that Mal shoots in the first episode, missing his right eye from his last encounter with Mal, is still on Whitefall where he was left during the pilot episode. Dobson seems to have carved out his own niche on Whitefall, complete with bodyguards and a lair. He has made a deal with the Hands of Blue who have been trying to recapture Simon and River. Dobson, obsessed with killing Mal, claims he has the perfect plan and needed only Alliance clearance to make it easier. After returning to Persephone, Badger approaches... he was some lower-level crime boss who would give him jobs. Approaches Serenity with a handful of goons to pitch a job to the crew. Not taking any chances, Zoe stuns Badger's hired muscle with fire-retardant gas as they attempt to board Serenity and shoots them. Serenity takes off with Badger on board. Badger explains to the crew that the Battle of Sturgis, which he refers to as the bloodiest battle of the Unification War, was fought over a pile of money, which is supposedly still floating in the battlefield unclaimed. Mal says that he'll consider the job, telling Badger to get off his ship before the stain sets. They leave Badger in the desert of Persephone. Mal gathers his crew, tell them that he's decided to take on Badger's job. Inara asks him to take her to duties first, and Mal declines. Mal insists that the job is more important, and Book pushes Mal to reconsider. When Book reminds Mal that he gave Inara his word, Mal states that it means nothing. Mal provokes Book by saying that his word was no different from Shepard's preaching, and that when push came to shove, Book didn't pray but stole a vehicle and did what needs to be done to survive. Book punches Mal in the face. The crew travel to the coordinates given to them by Badger. Mal, Zoe, and Jane board one of the ships to look for the money. Once they reach the location Badger claimed the money would be at, it becomes clear that they have been set up. There is no money, and Dobson and his henchmen ambush the three, demanding an eye for an eye. Mal tells Zoe and Jane to kill them all once Dobson shoots him. Instead, they dispatch Dobson's men before he can fire a shot at Mal, who shoots out Dobson's other eye, killing him for good. Before leaving, Mal shoots him again, just to be sure. While Mal, Zoe, and Jane are fighting Dobson, the Hands of Blue attempt to sneak aboard Serenity, due in part to River's psychic abilities. Yeah, River was telepathic or something. Simon, Inara, and Kaylee are tipped off to the fact that they may have visitors. After going to the cargo bay to investigate, Kelly's attacked by one of the agents. Simon knocks the agent down with one of Jane's weights, causing him to fall back into his ship. Kelly closes the airlock and continually jerry-rigs it to keep the agents out who are trying to bypass the lock. Wash flies Serenity through the remains of a derelict ship, knocking the agent's shuttle off of Serenity. Mal orders Wash to step on it, having safely re-entered the ship along with Zoe and Jane. The Hands of Blue are incinerated by Serenity's engine flare. Mal drops Inara off, possibly on New Melbourne, and seems to not have given her the kind of goodbye he truly wanted to. Later, Shepard Book stumbles upon Mal talking to himself, saying his true thoughts to Inara. Book tells Mal that he will be leaving Serenity, fearing that his time on the ship has been corrupting him. The Alliance, having learned of the fates of the Hands of Blue, passes the assignment to retrieve the TAMs to the operative. He accepts the mission.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, yeah, that's actually measures up nicely.
Yeah. So yeah, that at least fills in the gap. And there's a couple others that were published that I know exist, but I don't know what their basic premise is. But it's at least good that they tried to fill in the plot holes and keep it going in some capacity, but
Yeah.
it's sort of a downer that you got to accept that we are not going to get more than just the 13-episode series, the movie, and the various comic books that were published.
No. I mean, they talked about a reboot something. Was it last year?
I don't remember that.
Or start of this year? It was just simple talks, you know. And I don't think a reboot would be the same. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because like a lot of what made Firefly work was that you had this unique chemistry that the cast had with each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna sound corny to say it, but the cast, they legitimately felt like they were a family in some fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they argued, they bickered, but they still kind of pulled together when the situation demanded it. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that these were actors that Joss Whedon had worked with before in some capacity. He knew how they all thought, and they all had some level of familiarity with each other. So, I mean, Joss is known for using the same actors that he tends to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
I mean, like, his version of Much Ado About Nothing is basically a who's who in a Joss Whedon work. Like, yeah, actually, let me pull that up. Let me pull up that cast, Much Ado About Nothing. Yeah, and yeah, guys, Joss Whedon did an adaptation of the Shakespeare play Much Ado About Nothing. Alright, so he's got Amy Acker as Beatrice. Boom. I remember her being Fred in Angel.
Yes.
Alexis Denisov as Benedict. He was Wesley in Buffy and Angel. Reed Diamond, I don't recognize him. Nathan Fillion as Dogberry. And there's no point in talking about him. Clark Gregg as Leonato. He's the guy that plays Agent Coulson in the Marvel movies.
Yep. And of course the TV series, which is Joss Whedon.
Yeah. No, that was wrong. Sean Mayer is Don John. He's Simon in Firefly.
Yep.
Let's see, who else is there? Who else is there that I recognize? And actually, after that part, I don't recognize any of these other people, but I'm sure if I clicked on their Wikipedia pages, I probably would look through it and see, oh, she's that chick from that episode of or you get the idea. Like, I'd probably recognize them if I did a little digging, but I do not feel like doing it right now. But you guys get.
And you also
say what?
Going back to Joss Whedon, he's actually going to be finishing off the Justice League movie, which I think is going to actually be interesting.
Really?
Yeah, because Zack Snyder had a death in the family. I'm not sure who it was, but he actually, so he's done so much of Justice League, and they got Joss Whedon to come in and finish it off. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, if anything, Joss Whedon can at least make it probably more coherent.
Yeah. But yeah, you got Avengers and basically Justice League all done by him, and that's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see.
Kind of amazing that that the biggest success he ever found was stuff he didn't make.
That's true. He did that other TV series that didn't last very long a few years back. It was like this spy assassin, and she keeps getting her memories wiped for each mission.
Yeah.
Dollhouse, that was it.
Yeah, I think the premise is this chick sort of signs her life away to this organization to be used as a sort of. She's not just an assassin. Like she can, like they'll upload any memory. They wipe her memories and then upload any new set of memories, so she can basically be any person they need her to be. It's sort of like being an escort minus the sex. Although I'm pretty sure she has to be an actual escort at some point in the show.
She probably has only got through the first season.
The idea is interesting, but I didn't stick with it long enough. And
No.
I don't know. From what I remember trying to watch it on. I remember trying to watch it on Netflix at one point, and the thing just kind of felt kind of dry to me.
Yeah. Well, the fucking lead actress, what's her name? She wasn't that good. She wasn't a good pick.
Wasn't that Summer Glau?
No, it was that other Alicia.
Eliza Dushku.
That's her. Yeah. Eliza Dushku. Yeah. She was. She doesn't have the. Fucking can't think of the word. She doesn't have the capacity to fucking carry a lead role. She can't do it.
She's a better supporting actress.
Yeah, and plus in this one, in each fucking episode, she had to play a different character, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but it needed a better actor.
Yeah, Summer Glau would have been a good choice, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Summer Glau for some reason. Weird.
No, it should have been Summer Glau.
But yeah,
it should have been.
But yeah, and also I think not only is Eliza Dushku better as a supporting actress. The roles I can think of where she was good was like when she was Faith in Buffy, where she was sort of like I think they made Faith. Wow, the beer is getting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, let it get to you.
Yeah, they sort of made Faith to be sort of like the anti-Buffy.
Yeah.
She was Buffy's complete opposite. Said she was kind of a little harder. She was a lot more cynical. She was a little more meaner and had a bit of an evil streak in her. And
that worked for her.
Yeah, I know that worked. The other role I can remember her in where she was good was when she played Shaundi in Saints Row 2. And Shaundi in that game, she's just this pot-smoking hippie chick.
Yeah, she did she did another fucking video game. Can't think what it was though, but she was the lead in that.
Let me take a look.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll look it up. I'll look that up. Yeah. But yeah, she was in Saints Row 2, she's like one of your lieutenants. And she's a little funny in it. She's pretty funny in it, I'll give her that much. Yeah.
I don't actually know what she's done recently. I haven't seen anything of it.
She hasn't had. I don't think she's had to work in a while. Let's see, video games.
So Dollhouse might have been the last one.
Says she was in Yakuza. Oh wait, no, she was in Wet. She played that.
That was it.
Yeah, where she was just. Yeah. Oh wait, actually, she does have work. She's She-Hulk in the Marvel cartoons right now. And apparently she's also got Yeah, she's also got a TV movie coming up.
Oh, it's not sci-fi, is it? Sci-fi channel.
I do not know. Let's find out. Oh, here's something. She's been in a couple music videos too. But oh, here's where it gets hilarious.
Okay.
She was in videos for Simple Plan and Nickelback. Oh boy.
Oh.
Yup. Oh man, that's not something you want to put on your That is not something you want to put on your resume. Yeah, I was that girl in that Nickelback video. Okay, the TV movie she's in is it looks like it's a Deantay, do you remember this spy show called The Saint?
I know its name.
Yeah, it was
That's about it.
Yeah, it was Roger Moore was in it, and I can't remember if it was before or during when he was Bond. And it seems to be sort of an adaptation of it. It says it was billed as like a potential pilot, but it wasn't picked up until they just released it digitally in July.
Oh, I see a lot of movies that are actually like that. There was that crappy one, Momentum, which was supposed to be a fucking pilot for a TV series, but it turned into a movie which has no ending.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Momentum, look it up.
You said Momentum, not Memento?
Momentum.
Yeah.
It's got that Russian girl in it, Olga, I can't say her last name, from Hitman and Quantum of Solace.
Momentum. Okay, I gotta be more specific.
Okay, it's got James Payfrey in it, that English guy.
Here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Olga Kurilenko.
That's it.
It says it's a South African film.
Well, it was meant to be a bloody pilot for a TV series, but they just turned it into a movie and it has no ending. Absolutely no fucking ending whatsoever.
Wow, and it's also it's had abysmal reception. Has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know what the fuck. I want to know how they got Morgan Freeman in it as well. What the fuck did they offer him for it?
I don't know, but it clearly wasn't worth it.
No, because in this one he plays a senator in the White House who is trying to get back this video of him having sex with an underage girl because it's going to ruin his career.
Oh man, here's how much it made when it lists it's what it made out in the UK. It only managed to gross like £46 in the UK from the 10 theaters it played in.
Oh wow, it's a fucking terrible movie. But you could see, there was meant to be a TV series.
In fact, it says its budget was $20 million and it only made $104,000.
Wow. Yeah.
That is just.
Yeah.
That is just. Yeah. Whoever the people who were involved in this, if they're smart, they did not put this on their resume at all. This is not something you walk away from.
No. Actually, Morgan Freeman has made a lot of bad choices in movies these last few years.
Yeah, well, he's got enough good movies. I think it balances out for him.
At least he's not as fucking turning into Robert De Niro anyway. Christ.
Oh yeah.
Robert De Niro's movies.
Yeah, he is. Wow, my God, has he gone downhill?
He's destroyed his career pretty much. And it was a good fucking career up into the late 90s.
Yep. I think what was the last good movie he was in?
I'm going to say Stardust because at least that was enjoyable.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I guess you could put that down, but the last good movie he was in that he had a leading role in, I guess, would probably be what, Raging Bull? No.
Casino.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Casino. Yeah.
That would be his last good one as a starring role.
Yeah. gun is like so fucking. It is so fucking abysmal.
Bad Grandpa. Jesus.
And all the Meet the Fokker movies.
Meet the Fockers. Oh yeah, that's right. And he blames it on his wife, doesn't he? He said something. It was his wife was spending too much money or some shit. That was his excuse. I mean, be honest. Robert De Niro, he shouldn't have problem getting work. I mean, Martin Scorsese would pay good amount to get him in something of his again. So there shouldn't be a fucking problem. That is such a fucking... Yeah, he blamed on his wife, though.
Oh, God, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Something else. There was some... I was going somewhere with this, and I forgot. But I guess we could just go back to Firefly, and... So... I would say, like, Serenity is, like, that kind of shows you how you adapt a TV show to the big screen.
That's probably the best one ever done as well, because you got the original cast. You can see it's actually a proper feature film. The sets are improved. The shit looks way better. You can see the difference. It shows really showing how it's done.
Yeah, it shows the budget, man. And
yeah.
I mean, really, I think about like the only thing I could reasonably call like a flaw in the film is that it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like after they've blown the secret about where the Reavers came from, that it was the Alliance that made them with an experimental drug in the air supply to make everyone more peaceful, and turns out that 10% of the population had a negative reaction to it that increased their aggression.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they're still at the end of Serenity, they're still in the same position. They have River and Simon, and the Alliance is still after them, regardless of the secret being exposed.
Yeah, but like I said, you also kind of want to know what happens to the rest of the system after the secret's been blown. I mean, like.
Yeah. I guess if you were gonna do a reboot, you make it a soft reboot, and that would be your starting point. There's been another war or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, or you could possibly just like, I mean, if you're going for a soft reboot, you could just like pick it up with a brand new cast and see like how they deal with the fallout of what happened.
Yeah. I mean, you could have references to the old crew as well. Yeah. The thing is, you need something like the Reavers, though. That would be the main problem. Yeah. You need something along those lines.
Some kind of existential threat.
Yeah, it's a mystery. I mean, yeah.
I guess that was a big draw point of the Reavers, is that you never really knew where they came from. I mean, like, now one thing is that Firefly made like a conscious effort to avoid a lot of sci-fi cliches. Like it didn't have. There are no aliens in Firefly.
No.
Yeah. Then it doesn't have doesn't really have any space battles, and in fact, what scenes they do show in space, it actually portrays them as being quiet, because guess what? There's no sound in space because it's a vacuum.
Yeah, and that was. I always enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you haven't really seen that done since like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
No.
I mean, although this is something you could kind of blame on Star Wars to an extent, because it sort of set the standard for that.
Yeah, big explosions and flashy lights.
Yeah, and lots of noise. I mean,
lots of noise.
Granted, is exciting.
Yes, yeah, they fucking build up the hype, especially the Return of the Jedi, which has the best space battle for the Star Wars movies. That one's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, I would agree with you there. But yeah, I mean, like there were so many. other cliches it avoided is that it didn't have like laser weapons. They were all like 6-shooters and stuff.
Yep.
Like they were using regular guns more or less. Like, and and they didn't even really bother explaining how certain things worked. Like Serenity is, I'll just call it hybrid drive for lack of a better word. It doesn't explain to you how it works. It just works.
Until it stops working.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of problem they had. I mean, Sandy was basically a car that kept breaking down.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like an old ship.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly,
And that was good.
I think when Mal and Zoe bought it, there was also like a dead animal in it.
No, that's right. Don't step in it.
No. And yeah, and but that sort of just gave the ship character though.
Yeah.
Because it all looked like it was lived in.
There was no fucking shields or anything like that for the ship.
Yeah, also that, I mean, like, and also another thing, it wasn't like it didn't look really super sterile or anything. Like it looked like I said, the thing about Firefly is that it looks like it looks old, it looks worn, it looks used, but it also looks lived in. Yeah,
I mean, you can come back to Star Wars. Everyone says the Millennium Falcon is a piece of junk, but that ship looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Whereas the Serenity, it looks like it can fucking fall apart at any time, and that was a good part of the setup.
Yeah, there was like a whole episode for that.
Yeah, Adrift.
No, I think it was called Out of Gas.
I thought it was Adrift.
Really? Yeah, but yeah, on that episode, like I forget why. I think did they get attacked in that episode and they just end up...
No, something happens with, Katie did something wrong with the reactor and it explodes, and then the power completely goes out, and they send the 2 shuttles off, each one way, and of course Malcolm stays on board to radio for help.
Yeah, and he's got
but they pretty much get stranded in space.
Yeah, and he's got very limited oxygen and stuff, and then he gets picked up by some salvagers. And he tries to, I think he tries to barter for a replacement part for the ship.
But they wanted the ship for themselves.
And of course, they end up nearly killing him.
Yeah, that was actually a good episode because it's probably the only Kaylee and Walsh background we get, and it shows how they all came together.
Yeah,
and of course, Zoe hated Walsh at first.
She hated Wash. And
oh yeah, Walsh. I don't know why I keep saying fucking Walsh.
I didn't notice, but whatever. But yeah, and also funny like how they got Jane in, because because the way they meet Jane is he's part of a gang of thieves and they want to take the ship, and I think Mal he just does it just to see if it'll work. He asks him how much he's getting paid for the job, and Jane reveals that his payment's actually pretty crappy.
Yeah.
And so Mal just makes him a better offer, and so he shoots his cohort.
No, he also offers him his own bedroom as well.
Oh yeah.
Because he had to share with that guy who snores.
That's all it takes to convince Jane.
Yeah. And of course, Jane doesn't hide the fact that if a better offer came around, he'd betray Mal. He doesn't even hide that from Mal, which was another interesting aspect of him.
As much as he'll follow Mal, and I'm pretty sure he respects him too, to an extent.
Yeah, yeah.
Jane's purely out in it for himself.
Yeah, well, you get that one when they go to Canton, and you find out that he threw his old partner out of the fucking thing to try and outrun the fence. Yeah, and then later he had to dump the gold, but yeah, he got rid of his partner first.
Yeah. And what it really makes Jane look really scummy is that he says to him, "Hey, you would have done it too." And he says, "No, I wouldn't have." Also, I think one of the funniest Jane scenes is in the final episode where Jubal early boards the ship and just makes a ruckus, and then he falls Jane, and we think, oh man, yeah, he falls down the blanket and it shows all his guns, and we think he's gonna go do something, and he just goes back to sleep.
Yeah, he just wraps up in the blanket and goes back to sleep. Because he kind of looks up too, like he's really pissed. That was great.
And then after they kick him off the ship, he says, "What, a guy? There was a whole fight and I missed it."
Apparently that bounty hunter survived as well, according to Whedon.
Oh yeah.
He said that yeah.
Even though he's floating out in space with no ship.
Yeah, he says I know, but he says I'd like to think he got rescued somehow. I mean, you could probably do a comic on that if you like.
Probably that'd be interesting. But
Yeah.
Another thing was that that guy Jubal Early, to hear Whedon tell it, he was supposed to be based off Boba Fett,
Really?
which I'm not having a hard time seeing because
Yeah, so am I.
he's very talkative and Boba Fett hardly ever says a word. I think he's got like what
Yeah.
5 lines in the whole in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and I don't think he talks at all in Return of the Jedi.
No, he doesn't. Well, like I'm about the only connection is that they're both bounty hunters.
Yeah. Maybe the look, kinda. The armor part. I don't know.
That doesn't even look that similar. Like
No, it doesn't. No, I don't get that. Maybe if the series carried on and he came back, there may have seen similarities there. But as it stands, I can't see it.
me neither. But what was he had a good line in that when he was of all the with the exception of a midget, this girl is by far the most troublesome cargo I've ever had the displeasure of carrying. And Simon asks, what did he do? The midget.
That's why he just gives him a confused look.
And he just says, arson. Little guy likes to play with fire.
That's right.
Yeah,
He was actually an interesting character, though. It's a shame it was only in that one episode.
He probably would have been he would have been like a good nemesis. That's from Mal.
Yeah. And the only other one he had was the wife. I forget her name, but she was a con artist.
Saffron, and actually I think she's just a thief. She's like supposed to be like some sort of femme fatale thief, I think.
Yeah. Well, she conned people into marrying them, and then she'd take something from them.
Robs them blind.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man, was it hilarious? Based on that episode started out because when he realizes how smashed he got.
That's right.
And just got married to her without even knowing it, as according to that planet's weird customs.
And what he says to Jane, "How drunk was I last night?" And Jane goes, "I don't know, I passed out."
And what's even funnier is when Jane tries to trade him his gun.
Vera. She has a name, so does this. I call her Vera.
She has value. This gun has extreme. This gun is one of the finest. This is one of the finest guns made by Ben, and has extreme sentimental value. Oh man.
It was good.
Also, that episode where they touch down on where they infiltrate that hospital, and we really get to see the darker shades of Jane's personality.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite episodes as well, the hospital one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like, we get to learn a little bit about what might have happened to River at the facility. And we really get to see
all the brain operations.
We get to see Jane show a bit of his true nature, and then of course we get to see like how mercurial he is, just because as the Alliance turns on him, and so he says, "No, screw it, I'll just have to take him back."
And you actually see how loyal Malcolm is to his crew. Like, he doesn't like Simon that much, but he knows Simon is part of his crew, and he was willing to kill Jane to protect Simon at the end.
Yeah.
And that was actually really well done.
Yeah, and also what he tells Jane, and when he's got him in the airlock, and he says, "If you ever next time you try to stab me in the back, do it to my face."
Yeah. And then, of course, Jane gets the fucking one-line, and "Can I come in now?" Oh, of course, that episode had the...
Gotta pepper those funny lines all throughout.
Yeah. And of course, it was that episode, you got their hands in blue and their fucking killer glow stick. I don't know what they call it. But that's what it looked like to me, a killer glow stick.
From what I could tell, it looks like it kills with sonic frequencies.
Yeah, and does something to the brain because their eyes and ears start bleeding.
I think it makes the brain hemorrhage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. It emits some sort of frequency that makes the brain hemorrhage.
And it looks extremely fucking painful too, because you can imagine what kind of headache that would be giving you.
Yeah.
Not a pleasant way to go.
Nope. And the only reason it probably doesn't affect them is probably because they got, like, I'm gonna assume, like, special earpieces.
They do touch their ears before they set it off. If you rewatch it, I'm not sure what they do put in it, but there's something there.
Or maybe they got, like, special implants in their ears that they can turn on and off.
Yeah, could be that. You never really find out much about them.
Yeah, that kind of makes them a little scary, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, what makes the Reavers scary is that they're primal, they're bestial, they're savage. Whereas the Hands of Blue are the complete opposite. They're cold, they're calculating, they're clinical.
They're calm.
Yeah, but in both cases, there's no bargaining with either.
No.
And actually, that one episode where they pick up that guy who sort of turns into a Reaver, that was kind of scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was acting like one. Yeah.
Yeah, because Reavers, they're not like aliens or mutants or anything. Just like it kind of what it implies is that when Reavers attack, they torture, they rape, they do all kinds of terrible things to their victims, and anyone who lives through it is completely messed up.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like I guess you could say the guy sort of developed sort of Stockholm syndrome or something.
They seem to have a certain society among themselves as well, which you know nothing about. All you know is that they live together. That's about it.
Yeah, it's just like they're like a bunch of marauders out of Mad Max or something. But even more.
And they can also fly ships. Yeah.
And also even more savage. But what else? I think I remember coming across a short film on YouTube that it was a short fan-made film, and I kid you not, it's got Vic Mignogna in it.
Wow.
Yeah. can find it, I'm gonna link it to you later. Actually, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, let me at least get the title so people can find it. And short film.
Yeah, Vic Mignogna, a very talented voice actor.
Yeah, and I also yeah, and he also does that Star Trek web series. So he's a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film is called The Verse, made by Loot Crate Studios. Wait,
Loot Crate.
oh yeah, I see them get plugged in by some YouTubers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do that for the sticky pedal. I've seen now.
Say what?
The sticky pedal channel, Loot Crate supports them.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I should ask if I can get Loot Crate to support my channel.
Oh, fucking, why not? Mind you, the product would be pretty big.
Yeah, probably. I probably couldn't, but that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
If only just so they could send me free geek shit every month.
Of course, you'd probably have to do an unboxing video or something in return.
Yeah, I probably would have to. But you're lame. But yeah, the name of the short film, for those of you who want to look up, it is called The Verse.
The Verse.
And yeah, that's what they referred to as that's what they called the universe out in Firefly. Actually, they called space the black. Yeah. But I seem to remember there was talk of like maybe an MMO based on Firefly, but I don't know if that ever anything came from that. Although I do remember seeing a trailer that had Nathan Fillion in it. That was a little cool.
They did that with bloody Stargate as well. There's meant to be this video game coming out, but it never took off.
Yeah, kinda can't compete against World of Warcraft in this market, man.
No, you can't.
Or more accurately, they were probably being done by developers who didn't know what they were doing. Which is also possible, because there are a couple other successful MMOs out there. They don't pull in the money that World of Warcraft does, but they're successful. It's well enough. So.
Well, Elder Scrolls was there. I haven't heard much good things about that one, so I'm not too sure. But they keep pumping those ones out, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah. I think like Guild Wars is still around in some capacity. I hear that's still good.
Final Fantasy 11 servers didn't last.
Oh yeah.
They closed all those down.
Yeah, of course they did. So, I'm not sure. I think we could totally. I think we've kind of talked about everything that we could regarding Firefly, but I think we could at least explore the impact it has had, because even though it had a short life, it has kind of made an impact on sci-fi at large.
Yeah, it's got a strong cult following at the very least.
It does, but it's also been pretty influential in its own right, because you can see this if you compare the first StarCraft game to the second one, because the first one was sort of like, it sort of had this sort of Dixieland in space aesthetic with the Terrans, but once they got to the second one, now it takes on more of a Firefly-esque vibe.
I haven't actually played the second one, but that's interested me.
It just kind of feels like it's got all these feelings of like a Firefly type space western and shit. And I think I think I heard they were sort of taking a influence from Firefly in Mass Effect Andromeda. I do not know how well they pulled that off, because I didn't even bother playing Andromeda, because fuck Mass Effect and fuck BioWare. They suck now.
Yeah, I was never a big Mass Effect fan.
Yeah. You gotta just look up our video game episode. Sam spends plenty of time tearing into Mass Effect, talking about how uninspired and unoriginal the setting is, and clunky the dialogue is and how boring the characters are. And that's just the first one, which is considered the good one.
I thought the second one was considered the good one. Or am I wrong?
I think it depends on who's talking.
Yeah, no, that's true. But Andromeda, yeah, nothing but bad things about that from what I hear. Fucking hell. And they want to do another one.
Oh, fuck. Of course they do. Even though Andromeda pretty much got blowtorched in effigy.
Yeah.
And yes, I completely stole that from Razor Fist, but you guys come up with a better line. I mean, like, every time I saw something that was Andromeda related, I made it my mission to get into the comments of those posts and put down softcore space porn. That was, I shit you not, that was one of the developer's actual words he used to describe the sex scenes in Andromeda. I wanted to make sure they never lived those 3 words down.
Softcore space porn.
It's just like
That makes me want to fucking stay away from it even more.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Jesus.
I don't want to look at digitized. I don't want to look at computer-generated blue alien titties.
I wonder if we have the fucking Witcher 3 to blame for that. Because I heard the sex scenes in that were actually pretty detailed and graphic.
Oh yeah, you could. You know, I wouldn't discount it at the very least.
Yeah.
And of course, you could probably put the blame for that on Game of Thrones. Yeah, I mean, like, you have seen Game of Thrones, Deantay. I mean, Sam and I agree that the sex scenes in Game of Thrones border on being pornographic.
Well, season 1 do. Is it Theron and that hooker girl? The one that gets killed by Joffrey later. She's not in the books. That scene was freaking graphic. That was back in Winterfell.
Oh man, was that the one where you see Alfie Allen's ass?
You see all of Alfie on full frontal nudity, and it's graphic as well. That was straight out of a fucking porn movie. That scene, because she actually fondles him as well, and the whole scene is fucking creepy because it shows it.
Wait, is it Theon or Joffrey? I think I lost.
No, it's not Joffrey. It's Theon.
Oh man.
Because the whole point of his character is he's supposed to have this magnificent cock that women can't resist. Of course, when Ramsay cuts it off, it's more of an impact, supposedly. Because then Ramsay sends it to his father.
And of course, also Theon's from the Iron Islands, and they're supposed to be great lovers and shit.
Yep. And of course, he has the fucking crush on his sister as well, which makes him no difference than Jaime and Cersei in a lot of ways.
In fairness, at the time he didn't know it was her, and when he did, he did look like he was pretty. When he found out, he did look like he was pretty disgusted with himself.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
But yeah, I mean, like, Game of Thrones makes nearly pornographic sex scenes popular. So Witcher steals them, and so Andromeda.
And then you got your softcore space porn, as they worded it. Oh, wow, that's a fuck up.
Yeah, it is. Oh, here's another thing. Do you know there's a tabletop RPG for Firefly?
I had actually heard about that. I can't remember where, but I have actually heard about that.
Yeah, I think you can actually find playthroughs of it on YouTube too, as well. I personally have not played it. And I'm not familiar with the system it uses. So I could not tell you if it's good. I'd have to probably run this by my tabletop friends. But I'm kind of impressed that it managed to actually get one. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, it's not a video game, but hey, it's kind of better than a board game, at least.
Yeah. At least they didn't fucking do Firefly and Monopoly and get fell into that fucking trap.
I don't think it's that big.
Yeah. Well, everything's fucking Monopoly now. Simpsons, Final Fantasy, Game of Thrones,
Legend of Zelda,
Legend, Pokemon,
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the
There's
Rings.
probably a Star Trek one as well.
I guarantee you there's a Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, there would be. There's probably a Walking Dead one out there as well.
Oh yeah, there has to be. You know, actually, now that I think about it, if there's a Lord of the Rings Monopoly, what do they have in place of Boardwalk and Park Place? Like, what would be the two most valuable pieces of property in Middle Earth?
It'd probably be okay.
I want to say Minas Tirith and Minas Tirith and possibly
Maybe the Elf Place? I don't know.
Lothlorien or Rivendell. You gotta pick. You mean Lothlorien or Rivendell?
I'd say Rivendell. That one seemed a little nicer.
Also, it's not out in the fucking woods like Lothlorien is.
No, that's probably where the fucking cheap places are because they're getting infected by trolls and goblins at night.
Actually, if anything, I would think the cheapest property is going to be the in the Shire.
No, I reckon the show would be, the middle ground. Because it's nice. It's just not fancy.
Yeah, it's homely.
Yeah.
And I found and it turns out there is a Monopoly Lord of the Rings, and I found a picture of a board. Hopefully it's big enough that I can get a good look at the details.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And fucking load you. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna put you on share screen for this, Deantay, so you can see it.
Yep. All right, looking.
Yeah, and it looks like Park Place is Mountain Doom and Barad-dûr. The two most valuable pieces of property in this game are Mountain Doom and Barad-dûr.
Holy shit. Wow.
Why? Oh, nobody would want to live in Mordor.
What's that? Sheba's Lab? Sheba's Lair?
Shelob's Lair, yeah. In fact,
Oh, what?
oh, the cheap one is Bag End and Farmer Maggot's Farm. Seriously? You're gonna make Bag End cheap? Dude, that is not cool. Pink ones have a hard time making this up just because the resolution ain't all that great. One of the orange properties is the Mines of Moria. Yeah, and now we got ones that are completely upside down, so I can barely make them out.
Can you rotate the picture anyway?
No, I don't think so.
Bugger.
Well, I probably could, but I'd have to pull it out. Pull it out, of course, duh. Why don't I do that?
They're still between parking and going to jail. And there's the same fucking police officer in taxi there.
Apparently those exist in Middle Earth.
Apparently they do. Well, there is actually a car in fucking Fellowship of the Ring in the background.
What, seriously?
Yeah, it was taken out for the fucking DVDs, but in the cinema release of the Fellowship of the Ring, when Sam and Frodo first leave the Shire, you see a car driving down a dust road in the background. You can probably find it on YouTube. Someone's bound to have it still.
Is it something where you kind of have to look for it?
No, it's like they're walking past this fucking big open field, and in the background, clear as day, is a fucking car driving past.
Wow,
on
that
this
is...
dirt road.
Okay, that is... Dude, that's just unprofessional.
But I'll tell you which movie tops it.
What?
Troy, when Brad Pitt's giving the speech and there's a fucking jumbo jet flying above his head.
Okay, so the red, I got a better look at what the red properties are. Helm's Deep, and that's the one I can make out. I can't make out the other one.
I can't. No, neither can I. Is it
Well, you're having a
Gap of something? Gap of
Rohan.
Gap of Rohan.
The Gap of Rohan. Yellow one is Fangorn Forest, Isengard, and can't make out
Is
the
it
third one.
Westhold?
Maybe.
Westhold?
Maybe.
Looks like Westhold.
Might be. All right, let's take a look at the green one. Okay, the green ones are Minas Tirith, Pelennor Fields, and Osgiliath.
Osgiliath.
Yeah, and let's take a look. The purple ones and the light blue are. Oh, wait, weren't they the cheap ones? Okay, yeah. Oh wait, I remember. This was Bag End and Farmer Maggot's Farm. Okay, light blue one is Huckleberry Ferry, Bree, and Weathertop.
Oh, I wonder if it's actually going in order of the places Sam and Frodo passed by.
It's going in order. Yeah, it looks like it's going in order of appearance.
Yeah, so that's why Mordor will be the most expensive one on the board, because it's the last place they get to.
Yeah. That's not all. Yeah, I mean, like, fuck, they even got a Hogwarts one, which of course they do.
No, of course. Harry Potter. We should have thought of that one ourselves.
Yeah, like,
So there's probably a fucking Twilight Monopoly out there as well.
oh,
somewhere.
I just have to look this up out of. Oh God, no! God, no! No!
Is that?
No! Now you've got to suffer. You have to suffer with me now. Now you have to suffer
There is
with
one in there. Holy shit, there is. Holy fuck.
I think it is, and although some of these look like they might be Photoshop jobs.
But the fact someone made a fucking Photoshop to Monopoly Twilight is even worse.
Actually, take it back. This can't be a Photoshop. This one can.
Monopoly Junior.
Yeah, it's the one that's for the. It says it's for ages 5 to up. The one that's for.
And it's fucking Twilight.
Oh man, that's just like. Why does this have to? I'm praying these are fake because I do not want to believe any of these are real. Like fuck, it is.
But if they're fake, that means someone. No, it's on Amazon. Twilight. Oh no, it's just a board game, is it?
Yeah, it's a board game for Twilight.
Oh, okay.
This one is, but everything else. I mean, like aside from that one Monopoly Junior pick, everything else looks like it. Everything else looks like a Photoshop job. It's just.
What's that one? Screw Bella.
It's just.
Slash Monopoly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, come on. We all know Edward and Jacob were kind of gay for each other anyway.
Oh, that's fucking horrendous.
Yes, it is. It fucking is.
And of course, the viewers don't know what we're looking at, but do yourselves a favor and don't look it up. Trust me on this.
Well, if you're gonna look it up, at least do it. Just only do it ironically. Do it for the lulz and nothing more.
Yeah. Twilight fucking Monopoly. Wow.
So yeah, I think we'll just close this out on saying that Deantay and I we seriously love Firefly, and if you haven't seen it, you probably should watch the movie too.
And if you can get a hold of the books, because they do tie up loose ends in the way for read.
Yeah, get up the comic book. Yeah, find the comic books if you can, and especially check out that short film, because it's got Vic Mignogna. That's pretty much all the motivation you guys need.
Absolutely.
All right, so be with us next week for another Yank and Kiwi podcast. You guys all take care of yourselves.
Take care, everyone.